Annyeonghaseyo, I am Sakshi and today we will be completing the topic nutrition in just 15 to 18 minutes. So let's start with the topic. So in class 10 we have studied that nutrition is of two types, autotrophic and heterotrophic. So autotrophic heterotrophic. So in autotrophic mode of nutrition, the organisms make their own food. So autotrophic is again of two types, which is chemoautotroph and photoautotroph. In chemoautotroph nutrition, the organism make their food by the help of chemicals, example iron bacteria, nitrophane bacteria. But in photoautotrophic nutrition, the organisms make their food in the presence of sunlight, like plants. So now we have heterotrophic nutrition, the nutrition in which organisms cannot make their own food. So it is again of three types: parasitic mode of nutrition, saprophytic, holozoic. In parasitic mode of nutrition, the organism is totally dependent upon host. For example, trypanosoma. In saprophytic mode of nutrition, the organism feed on dead decaying matter. For example, fungi. And in holozoic mode of nutrition, it is dependent upon living organisms like yeast, human beings, etc. So now we will talk about autotrophic nutrition first. So let's proceed. So autotrophic nutrition is a type of nutrition in which organisms synthesize their own food from simple inorganic substances to form organic substances like CO2 and H2O. So let's talk about plant nutrition. So plant nutrition, plants make their own food with the help of sunlight, chlorophyll and some raw materials. So the equation for this will be CO2 plus H2O is equals to sunlight and chlorophyll, pigment A is equals to C6H12O6, which is glucose, plus H2O plus oxygen. So this is the equation for the plant nutrition. CO2 and H2O, carbon dioxide and water, combines in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll, pigment A, and form glucose, water and oxygen. So raw materials for photosynthesis are carbon dioxide and water, and the end products are glucose, which is a carbohydrate, and oxygen. So carbohydrates are utilized in plants in the form of starch, and glycogen in the form of glycogen in the case of animals. So now we will talk about carotenoids. Carotenoids are present on the chlorophylls, on the side of the chlorophyll, which absorbs extra sunlight coming from the sun, which can damage the chlorophyll. So carotenoids play a very important role in the process of photosynthesis. And the chlorophyll pigment A is useful for trapping the sunlight in plants and some bacteria. So now we will talk about nutrition in amoeba. So amoeba is a unicellular omnivore animal. Amoeba mode of nutrition is holozoic, and it engulfs food from its finger-like projections, which are known as pseudopodia and also known as false feet. And amoeba is something like this. There's a food vacuole in it. The pseudopodia surrounds around the food particle and they engulf the whole food particle in one go. So this was all about the nutrition in amoeba. So now we will talk about nutrition in humans. So in human beings, the process of intake of essential nutrients in the form of food is take place through a system which is known as digestive system. So digestion is a catabolic process in which breakdown of molecules happen. Complex molecules are break down into simple molecules. So the human digestive system consists of long tubular structure which is known as alimentary canal and various digestive glands. So firstly, what is digestion? The digestion is the process of conversion of complex food to simpler and absorbable form. So now we will talk about alimentary canal and their glands. So alimentary canal is a 7 to 8 meters long tube in which the whole process of digestion takes place. Ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation, egestion. All these things take place in this alimentary canal. So major parts of alimentary canal. First is mouth. Mouth is the first part of the digestive system by where food enters into alimentary canal. So mouth is the first part where the food enters. And in mouth there are glands known as salivary glands which secrete salivary amylase. And it also have tongue which have papillae. It helps the food to mix with saliva. Now the next part is pharynx. It is a small funnel shaped chamber located behind the oral cavity. It communicates with the esophagus and buccal cavity. So pharynx communicates both with esophagus and buccal cavity. So now esophagus is the long tube that leads to the stomach. Esophagus have no digestive glands, no digestive enzymes. It's just a tube by which the food enters or by which the food travels to the stomach. Now stomach is the important part. Stomach is the J-shaped organ in the alimentary canal situated between the esophagus and small intestine. Stomach have a acid which is known as hydrochloric acid or HCl, and the pH of that acid is around 2. So it is highly acidic. So as you know कि इतना highly acidic है वो हमारे stomach की lining को खराब कर सकता है. So we have mucus which protects stomach from this highly acidic medium. So when the food enters in the stomach, it mixes with the HCl and break into smaller pieces, and then it passes to the small intestine. Now small intestine is also a long passage for the food, and it is 6.9 to 7.1 meter long. So small intestine is the largest part of the alimentary canal. It is fitted in very compact space because of the extensive coiling. So parts of small intestine are ileum, jejunum, duodenum. So ileum and jejunum have villi, whereas duodenum do not have villi. So it is a site of complete digestion. All the food nutrients are absorbed in this part. So now because it has villi are small finger-like projections which have many blood vessels in them. Now there is large intestine. So it is wider in the diameter, and it has appendix in the end. Appendix is no function in our body. So parts of this large intestine are cecum, colon, rectum. So these are the parts of a large intestine. So rectum is the last part of the alimentary canal, where the fetal matter is temporarily stored and then out of the body. So now we have talked about digestive organs. So now it's the time for digestive glands. Now digestive glands. First gland is salivary gland. So salivary gland is the gland which secretes the salivary amylase, which converts starch into sugars, and its pH is about 7 because it is 95% water. And the next gland is gastric gland. First was salivary gland. Second is gastric gland. Gastric gland. So these glands release digestive juices containing HCl, pepsin and mucus. HCl kills bacteria present in our food. Its pH is about 2. I know, I told you it's highly acidic. Due to the highly acidic nature of the HCl, the digestion of starch in stomach is prevented. The mucus prevents the lining of the stomach. I told you that because of this highly acidic environment, the mucus prevents the lining of the stomach. So now the next digestive gland is liver. Liver is the largest gland in our body. Liver is the largest gland in the body. The weight of the liver is around 1.2 to 1.5 kgs, containing 2 lobes. So liver have 2 lobes, and it secretes bile juice, which is stored in the gallbladder. Next is intestinal glands. The walls of small intestine have various glands that secretes bile juice and amylotic enzymes. So next is pancreas. Pancreas is the second largest. This is first and this is second. Pancreas are the second largest glands in our body. They release pancreatic juice, which help in the digestion of the food. Now, mechanism of digestion. Firstly, ingestion happens. We take food by the process of ingestion. Now digestion. Large molecules like carbohydrates are broken down into simple sugars, and then absorption. The absorption of food happens in our body from villi. Then assimilation, distribution of the digestive food throughout the body, and then egestion, the discharge of waste material out of the body. So that's all for today. Hope I think we have covered this all chapter. Just a recap of in just 10 to 13 minutes. So thank you guys. Hope you see in the next one. Annyeong.